Hi, this is Timothy Favre from the Delphic Group website. I'm coming to you live today to describe what we're trying to do with advocacy for regulations. So I think a lot of you have thought about regulations as kind of like, oh, regulations. Why do we need any of them? And other people are like, well, regulations are there for a good reason. Well, with us, with the Delphic Group, and what we're trying to do and advocate for is that it seems to me that it's common sense. And what it is that it's pretty common sense which regulations are required and which aren't. And we can determine very clearly, sensibly, which ones are the way forward. So yes, we wanted to return to classical analysts like Adam Smith, and they were saying basically, when you have markets that are unregulated and you can have pollutants dumped into the rivers and overfishing and stuff like this, that we need some external force to come and enforce these laws and regulations. But it gets to the point where these regulations can become very onerous, and they can get to the point where they restrict development of innovation, they restrict development of free trade, they restrict development of, prosperity, from small business to large business, from families to individuals, from communities like to mega cities. All of these groups are being kind of diminished. They're then kind of held back by certain regulations that just don't need to be there. So what we're trying to do is take a look at what we have really in this country, in this world. We have a surplus of corruption, but we have a deficit of trust. And so what we're trying to do is kind of reverse these two polarities and say, oh well, you have you have obvious things in this world. You have internet service providers. You have other groups that have control over networks. They have control over how our society is structured sometimes. And what we want, like we have in this fair city in Fort Collins, Colorado, what we want is more municipal internet. We want more municipal utilities. So, and more resources to go towards those municipal utilities, because a lot of the times we see proposals like dark fiber rollouts. And so this fiber has already been laid, and a company like Comcast can either drag their heels or they can provide these enriched utilities to the public. And oftentimes they'll take the money that's given to them by governments and say, oh, we have subsidies for Comcast to be able to make sure that their customers are going to be well attended to. And yet they go ahead and take that money and they give it right to their shareholders. And so what we're trying to do with this is we're advocating for organizations that benefit the public good, and to work above that goal, again, more than rent seeking. No longer should regulations prevent competitors from breaking into markets. We encourage municipal utilities on the state, metro, and local levels. And one thing we should say is that we have to have open worlds where anyone can cooperate, anyone can communicate, anyone can compete, anyone can create. And in America, and a world that can flourish and thrive even today, going forward for the foreseeable future. I think this will be one in many series of videos on the different topics that we advocate for. I'm going to go ahead and do a serial report on the environment, taxation, multiple things here that I've been thinking about for years and wanting to get out there to the public to say, well, have an attractive way of presenting it, have enthusiastic ideas presented well, and then it's like something new, something that's like an amalgamation of, not too conservative, not too progressive, something that we can all support. And so at the end of the day, what we want to be able to do is say something, we're on everyone's side. So that's the goal ultimately, and for the progress and flourishing of all. So I'll meet you for our next video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, tell your friends. You have a good one.